Well, hello everybody, Pastor Joel here with you one more time for the past days with Pastor Joel. Keep your hands on the wheel, sir. Okay, thank you. I'll do that. Hey, you're probably going to hear a little bit of car noise here, a little road noise. I apologize for that. I don't want to make this about me, but I've had yet another change in circumstances recently, and just even hard to find a place. I just don't really even have a place that I can do videos very often. And often times what I do is I use my iPad, and then I've got my phone in front of me just to have some notes there. And I've also been, like the Revelation series I've started, I'm using my book for that. And I'm not doing it verbatim, and I'm trying to make it more conversational, more spontaneous, etc. But I've still got some notes there, and I can't do that with just my phone. So at any rate, you're getting another car video here, and this is actually a little bit different. And now for something completely different. Sorry, man, I'm so hot. Southern Idaho gets really hot, and it can also get really windy. And I just went for almost a 6-mile walk, and it's 97 degrees, and the wind is blowing over 20 miles an hour, and it felt like it was blowing over 20 miles an hour both ways because it was kind of coming from the side. So I'm a little tuckered after that walk and a little silly, clearly. Anyway, this is going to be short. I want to inform some of you about a resource that you may not know about, and it's not specific to eschatology. And you know I'm big into eschatology. I actually think preterism is much more than being just about eschatology. I think it's a whole hermeneutic, a whole way of seeing the scriptures that I believe actually to be the right way to interpret them, and really the only right way consistently. I believe maybe it's even more than that, maybe even a whole systematic theology, but nevertheless, I digress. There are also some things having to do with Christianity besides even eschatology, as important as I believe it is. And one of those has to do with the area of apologetics, which is essentially the defense of the Christian faith. So I want to let you know about this resource some of you may know about, but it might be brand new to others, called the Flaming Sword podcast, that is part of Flaming Sword Apologetics. That is with me, myself, and moi, and my good friend Darren Gregg, who actually did all the production and all the legwork, all the hard work on the podcast. He's also much better looking, and in terms of having bigger muscles, it's a toss-up. I think my right arm biceps a little bit bigger than his left. That's the way it works. Anyway, Darren Gregg is a fantastic friend of mine. One of the first people I sort of met and began asking questions when I began seeing some of the fulfilled eschatology that I now embrace. That was a little bit better. And he asked me if I wanted to do this podcast. And so we did this podcast for about a year, I think. Put out somewhere around 26 episodes called The Flaming Sword. And I want to let you know about that. And you can go to YouTube and just type in Flaming Sword Podcast or Flaming Sword Apologetics, and you'll find it. And you can watch some of those episodes. And I think Darren did a fantastic job. I think the content was good. It's important to be able to defend our faith. And some of those episodes did have to do with using eschatology as an apologetic. We interviewed a couple folks on there. In fact, one of the guys I just did an interview with recently with David Cooper. We had him on our podcast. That's how we met. And a couple other folks that you may or may not know. But I would encourage you to check it out. Flaming Sword Apologetics or Flaming Sword Podcast. And you can learn some good things that are going to be helpful, especially maybe for some skeptical family members, friends, neighbors that you might have. So check it out. Flaming Sword Apologetics. Pastor Joel saying bye for